This week, our plans for 2023, including downsizing into a much smaller RV. This is RV Miles.
This winter, LL Bean wants to help you get outfitted for all that's out there with tips and advice for heading outdoors and exploring all the possibilities of the season. Finding time outside can feel tough in winter, but it's just steps away if you turn your backyard into a winter oasis. Add a fire pit to keep you warm, some winter games to keep you active, and some all-weather furniture and outdoor blankets for chilling out comfortably. Just because it's cold out, that doesn't mean you have to be cold. For more fun ideas, easy how-tos, and inspiring stories, visit llbean.com/guide.
Welcome to episode number 263 of RV Miles. I'm Jason.
And I'm Abby. And we are two full-time travelers who have been crisscrossing North America with our three boys on one epic road trip since 2016. Here at RV Miles, we talk all things RV and outdoors, from industry news to travel destinations, our national parks, and a ton more.
And it is about to get much more epic. We are downsizing into a smaller RV, and we're going to tell you all about it on this episode of the podcast. But first, I broke my finger.
Yeah, so why don't we talk about that, okay? So we have a habit here at RV Miles, and by RV Miles, I mean Jason, to visit as many ERs as possible across the country.
Two.
3, 4, I think 5.
I have not been to 5 ERs. 3.
You've been
4.
5. Yeah, we've been to 5. We've been to 5 ERs. So would you like to, I feel like this is kind of giving away a little bit about what we're going to talk about.
I do have to talk about the RV in order to explain that. So
yes.
we'll get to it a little bit later, but we are going to be moving into a new RV. If you're watching this on video, we are sitting in said new RV. I was on the roof looking at where I can put new solar panels up there. And it came down the roof. The RV has a ladder on the back, a built-in standard RV ladder. And it sort of ends, above the bumper. And the final step is kind of on the bumper. So I come down the ladder and I step on the bumper. Mm-hmm. And then I hop off the bumper. As I hop off the bumper, my ring on my ring finger, my wedding ring, got caught on the ladder. And it grabbed and yanked on my finger and then flew off of my finger, thankfully, because it could have ripped my finger off. Mm-hmm. Instead, it broke it. So we went to the ER and they took x-rays, and it was just a clean, solid, real strong break. Not a fracture, not like a hairline fracture. It is like all the way through of my ring finger. So this left hand is going to be kind of out of commission for like the next 3 months, which is really
rough.
Problematic for what we're planning on doing here, as you will see as we move forward in this episode.
Yeah, so we took Jason to the ER here in Palm Springs. They were wonderful. They were busy, but they were wonderful. And here in a few days, we will be following up with a hand surgeon. The ER believes that because the break was so clean, that he should be able to just keep it in the splint and wrapped as it is, and it's going to heal. But they would like him to see a hand surgeon to make sure that they don't want to put a pin in it. We are trying to send all of it, everything that we can muster, to this appointment on Monday to ensure that surgery does not need to happen, because that complicates a whole lot of stuff, as you will see as we continue.
Well, and based on our insurance, our insurance provides stabilization care out of state. So for surgery, I would actually need to fly back to Illinois to have that done.
Yes.
So it really complicates things.
It complicates so much. So this is kind of where we are at. What is amazing about all of this is that I was sitting at the campsite across from the RV with my friend Jamie, and we were sitting there talking and working, and my back was to the RV that Jason was climbing up on. And Jamie looks at me and she goes, "Why is Jason on the roof?" And I turn and I look and I see you up there, and I grab my phone and I'm like, jokingly to her, I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to go ahead and film this in case the insurance needs it later." I'm just like being cheeky, and I'm like just filming him up on the roof, and the footage has him like on the roof. It's walking down. He gets on the ladder. He's climbing off, and I stop filming when he disappears because I know, okay, well, now he's reached the last rung and he's getting down. The minute I stopped filming, that man broke his finger. Like immediately as the film ends, as the video ends, Jason is in the process of breaking his finger. And I sit there, I finish filming, I turn around, and all of a sudden I hear, "Abby, come over here. I broke my finger." And I was like, "Wait, what? What?"
And I'm like grabbing it and hold it and then you saw it flopping and you're like,
I said, And Jamie had come over and I said, And I looked at her and I said, "What is your capacity to look at broken things? This might be my limit." It was just kind of, the finger was just kind of doing its own thing, as though it didn't actually, like it wasn't attached to the body, because it's not. And thankfully, again, so thankful to be caravanning and being with our friends Jamie and Clay, because they jumped into action. Clay grabbed the keys. He took you off to the ER so that I could get back up to the Sabre, grab the insurance, get the kids, inform them of what was going on. Jamie stayed behind with all the kids. Then I was able to jump in the Ford, head over, trade places with Clay. They came back. They fed our kids. They just provided us a sense of relief, that we could, again, just focus on this particular ER trip. And hey, maybe we've gotten it out of our system for 2023, because you lasted all the way until May of 2022 before we had to take a trip to the ER.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we've got this out of our system, because like there's no more room for ER trips.
That's
just
exactly,
so you know,
that's exactly how it works. You get it out of your system and it's gone.
So I just need you to understand that you will be existing for the next 8 months inside of a plastic bubble, or I might just put you back in like the kid's dinosaur costume.
I don't think that will help.
Just put you in that. And then when you have to go up on the roof, you have to wear the dino costume.
That would make it much harder to go on the roof. Let me just say. That would make it much, much harder and more dangerous. As we're walking around the beaches of Baja, I'm just going to need you to be like in a dino costume. How about that? I mean, that's what's unfortunate is we're going to be visiting some beaches and I can't swim. Yeah, that is unfortunate. We're getting ready to leave for our Disney cruise in just a couple of weeks as well. And we had to rearrange a few things for that so that, we can't really do the snorkeling and you can't get the manicure. Yeah. It's a little rough, but we're really thankful though. I mean, again, we have to talk about this and then we're going to move on. Let's just be so thankful that it was a clean break, that it could have been so much worse. Like when you put it into its own box and you look at it, considering that you had gotten that ring caught, remember what happened to Jimmy Fallon and that whole thing with his ring and the injury he sustained from that? You could have been Jimmy Fallon. Well, okay. I'll take his money. Yeah, and probably his healthcare. All right. Let's move on. We're going to take a break in a second. When we come back, we're going to talk about what we're up to. But first, I wanted to answer a question that I've seen on Facebook. Wait, so we're not taking a break? No, there's something I want to talk about first. Just checking. Can I just talk about something, please? I'm gonna stop interrupting me. They get so angry when I interrupt you. I'll be over here drinking my coffee. Go for it. So I saw a Facebook post recently. It wasn't in our group. It was somewhere else. And the question was, how do you set your brake controller? What do you set the brake controller when you're towing a vehicle that has electric trailer brakes and you've got the brake controller in the truck? You should have one. Some trucks come with them. Sometimes you have to add them aftermarket, but you need a brake controller that controls those electric brakes. Those brake controllers have a gain setting, the amount of pressure they apply, right? The amount of electricity they apply, actually. And the question was, how do you set that? And I was blown away that there were like 30 comments on this post and maybe one right answer.
Ooh.
So I thought it might be really a good thing to just share with you how that works. First of all, it's in the owner's manual to your vehicle if it came with a brake controller, or it's in the manual to your aftermarket brake controller that explains how to do this. So it's very simple to just go and read that. Let me just say how Ford says it. So our Ford F-350 comes with a built-in brake controller, and this is what they say to do. You hook your trailer up, you drive it at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, and you set the brake controller, maybe started at 6, and you depress the brake controller only. You take your foot off the gas pedal once you're at 20 and 25 miles an hour. You take your foot off the gas pedal, depress the brake controller only, and not the actual brakes of the truck. If the trailer wheels lock up, right? So if they get solid and don't move and they skid,
Yeah.
you have it set too high. So what they want you to do is increase the setting until that happens and then back it off by 1. And if that doesn't ever happen, so say you're pulling a big heavy trailer like ours, or like our 5th wheel, you're probably going to just have it set at full. And then if you feel like it's overpowering, if it's pulling too hard or something, you might bring it back down a little bit. It's not an exact science, but that's kind of the way they suggest that you go about it. Another thing that I just learned very recently that I don't think very many people know about at all. I learned this from our friends Tony and Peggy over at the Stressless Camping podcast. Check them out. They are wonderful people and are good friends. That you are supposed to burnish the brakes in a new trailer. If you have electric drum brakes in a new trailer, you're supposed to go through a process that heats them up and sort of gets the shoes working really well with the drum. So what you do, there's a whole process, I'll link to it in the show notes, that Lippert puts out there. Lippert manufactures the brakes on the vast majority of RVs sold out there, where you go about 60, 65 miles an hour, and for a half a mile, you depress that brake controller at full. And it heats up your brakes really hot, like 300-400 degrees, and they might even smoke. And that's actually going to provide you with way better braking power for the life of your trailer. And I never hear anybody talking about that. But
We've never talked about
something
it.
you're supposed to do. So we're going to do that on our new RV, which we're going to share with you the details of in just a moment.
Okay, so we are now officially taking a break. And before we do that, though, I also want to say a very happy new year to all of you listening and watching today. And we will be back in just a moment.
Chances are you've seen them on the road. That's because Blue Ox designs and manufactures the best towing products in the industry. Just look around, you'll find them on highways and campgrounds and anywhere you find people traveling in the great outdoors. Award-winning tow bars, base plates, and brakes, a full line of weight distributing hitches, adjustable ball mounts, and a new line of 5th wheel hitches. With Blue Ox, towing doesn't have to be a drag. To learn more about how Blue Ox can make your travel adventures even more stress-free, visit blueox.com.
This episode is supported by ParkWolf, the ultimate app for visiting U.S. national parks. With ParkWolf, you can view upcoming places and amenities as you drive through the park, locate the nearest gas, food, bathrooms, and pullover points. ParkWolf's wildlife maps show you the best times and places to see or avoid wildlife, along with a feed of the latest wildlife sighting photos from the parks. ParkWolf even makes it possible for you to view your live location and direction on official park maps while staying up to date on current NPS alerts and advisories. ParkWolf keeps working even if you lose service. To learn more, download the ParkWolf app for iPhone free from the Apple App Store today.
We are back, and it's time to talk about our 2023 travel plans. We are so excited.
We are thrilled. So if you've been around RV Miles for a while, you know that Jason and I like to try to come up with big, fun, epic sort of adventures that we can do. And sometimes those all pan out and sometimes they don't. We have to, slow down and stay stationary for a while. This year, though, is kind of like, I think, going to be our most epic year of travel. At the first of the year, every year on the podcast, we always kind of outline what that year is going to look like. So for the last 15, 16, 17 months, we have been traveling in a Sabre 37 FLL. We are Forest River ambassadors, and we have had this fifth wheel with us. It has been amazing. We have loved our home on wheels. It has taken us so many places across the country. However, we were influenced, I guess we could say, by our friends JV and Clay, or we were all dreaming together, which is probably a better way of putting it. We were all dreaming together of some pretty epic adventures that we wanted to go on. And it quickly became evident that these plans that we wanted to do were not going to be doable if we were still traveling in the Sabre.
Yeah, there's just so many places where you can't camp with a giant fifth wheel, and it's a trade-off, right?
Yeah, and
it's a great for full-time RVers like us with 3 kids. It's great to have a big space with 2 bedrooms for the kids to live in, and a big front living room for us to all hang out in. It's all wonderful stuff, but there are just places we can't go. And those places particularly are on the West Coast.
Yeah, So we called up our friends over at Forest River, specifically over at Ibex, and we are now partnering with them to move out of the Sabre for the next probably 6 to 8, 10 months. And we are moving into a 25-foot off-road Ibex 20 BHS. I will link to it in the description for the YouTube video as well as the description for the podcast. You can go over, take a look at it. We are going to have a walkthrough of it out on YouTube really soon as well, so you can kind of see the insanity that we are about to move ourselves into. The Ibex itself is awesome. It's really going to meet a lot. It's going to meet all of our needs for what we have planned.
So it is a bunk house with 2 bunks. So, we have 3 kids. So it's 2 bunks and then a dinette that can convert into a bed, which we're going to do, but we're going to make it a little bit more of
we're turning it into a bedroom.
Bed space,
really, yeah.
That we will now and then convert back to a dinette on like rainy days.
Yep.
A queen bed for us, and it's all in one space. There are no rooms. There is no wall between us and our kids. We're going to put a curtain up, but it is a 25-foot travel trailer. It is very small, and it has a very small kitchen. It has no oven. It has a convection oven, so it's a
microwave. Yep.
It has a small refrigerator. It's
smallish,
just all smaller.
It's more compact. It makes a lot of sense. We looked at a lot of different models. So when we decided to do this, or maybe better, why are you doing this, Jason and Abby? I'm sure all of you are yelling that right now at either the TV or in the car. You're screaming like, why on earth are you doing this, Jason and Abby? Well, we have really wanted to do some places across this country that have felt really inaccessible to us. So we have for the next 6 months, starting in February, we are heading down in the Ibex with our friends who moved out of a 38-foot fifth wheel into a 30-foot Airstream with their 2 kids. We are all headed to Baja. We're going to be in Baja for about a month. Then we are going to ride the coast up California. We're going to head in a little bit, head to Yosemite, to the Redwoods. We're going to continue into Oregon. We're going to continue into Washington. We're going to continue into Canada. We're going to jump on the Alcan, and we are headed for Alaska. We are taking 6 to 8 months. We are going to go into 3 countries. We are going to go into states we have never visited. Pacific Northwest, we are finally coming for y'all. I cannot wait. And we are checking off Alaska.
Yeah, and
this is huge for us.
The entire Pacific coast of North America. It's very exciting to me that we're going to be able to do that.
And we are doing so much of what we've always wanted to do because we have gone small for this. We are really just becoming as compact as we can. We're going to continue to have Fordo. Don't worry, that gasser is going nowhere. We're going to continue to have our gas truck, and we're just going to enjoy what we're calling kind of like a little bit of a vacation. The Sabre is not going away. We're going to just put it into storage, and then we will return to it after this is all over. This is an opportunity for our family to get back a little bit to what this was all supposed to be in the first place.
In many ways, I think it might feel more like what we were doing when we were in the bus.
Oh, for sure.
Now in the bus, we never had running water. We lived 3 years. The bus was 80% complete. We never finished the running water. But the amount of living space, it almost feels very similar to that.
We have a lot of plans for the Ibex that we are going to attempt to complete in about the next 3 weeks.
That's part of the problem. So we've got
with Jason's now broken finger,
a little less than a month with a cruise in between, and we've got a lot of things we want to do. We want to upgrade the solar. One of the great things, it already comes with a good solar controller and a 200-watt panel, and you can just add on to that. So we're going to add another panel or two. We really need to be able to maximize the interior storage. So we're going to be putting up hooks and tracks and things to be able to store everything we need inside. We're going to put up curtains like we mentioned. There's just lots of little things that need to get done, and just the sort of moving into it.
Yeah, we're going to
be get done.
Installing a composting toilet. So because we are looking at much smaller tanks, so it's only a 30-gallon black, a 40-gallon gray, and a 40-gallon fresh here in the Ibex 20 BHS. So the best way that we can make boondocking work for a family of 5, just like we made boondocking work for a family of 5 over in the Sabre, is to go ahead and put another Nature's Head composting toilet here into the Ibex. So we need to do that. Jason mentioned the solar. We also want to do just a few storage upgrades. All of the boys are completely on board with this. We should also make that really clear. The kids are very excited for this. The dinette that is going to be one of our kids' bedrooms isn't going to be a dinette. We're going to make that their own special space. When we were looking at smaller rigs, just like when we designed the bus, just like when we went and got Ranger Gandalf Trailey, when we had our Pioneer, what was always the most important to us was that everyone had a space to call their own. Now, that means you have to sacrifice here and there, but to have a space that you go to that is solely your own, that belongs to you, that you can decorate yourself, that is incredibly important.
Might be really small.
It might be really small, but actually the bunks are fantastic. We're putting new mattresses in. We're working with our friends over at rvmattress.com. We're going to be putting new mattresses in here because, again, it was so important to me that if everyone's space, their personal place to go to, was also the place that they were going to sleep, they needed quality mattresses in there, and everyone needed a good night's sleep. So there's a lot that we have to do in here to make it work for us, but in this really fun and functional way. And also going back to that whole getting on the road, why did we start this in the first place? Really making the outside part of our inside. So that is really going to be utilizing our outdoor space more, encouraging, because the Sabre is so wonderful. It's so wonderful. And it has so many places we can all go to that often we're all we don't really.
We're losing a living room, so the outside is our living room.
The outside will become our living room.
We're losing a heck of a lot of kitchen space, and we're going to do a lot more cooking outside,
Yeah. I can't even bring when you see the video, you will understand. The drip coffee maker can't even
There's zero counter space. There is a stove, and there is a sink, and there is 4 inches between them.
If I could offer, prior to even living in this and using this, one request of small, compact RV makers, I don't need a 3-burner stove. You know what I need?
Too skinny. Yeah.
Give me 2 skinny and give me more counter space. I don't need 3 burners in here. This is it.
Most people don't use 3 burners in a residential home. Let's
be honest. You can't fit 3 pots on a 3-burner RV stove to begin with. Okay. Come on. It is so silly unless you are using the teeny tiny little saucepans. So that is already presenting a little bit of a challenge. There are challenges that we get to meet with this that I think we're really excited about. We're in year 6, actually going on year 7. And I think we need a challenge. We needed to.
We're in our 7th year.
We are in our 7th year. We needed something that, as we look to the future and what that future means for us as Jack gets ready for college, I think we needed to do something that not only is going to bring us all together a little bit more as a family, but also offer us the opportunity to go on one epic adventure. And I can't believe it's actually happening. I'm so excited.
Yeah. And part of what's happening with that is not only we're going to, obviously share on the podcast here all the great places we go. We're going to give you all the information about going into Baja, about going into Canada, about getting to Alaska, about traveling the PCH, all that sort of stuff. But also we're going to start creating, finally, again, some more video content that is travel vlogs, that is about our travels. So we're very excited about doing some of that. We kind of have an idea of how to do it in maybe a little different way than you might have experienced before with some other YouTube channels. Just not as a dig on anybody, but as a just way that makes us more comfortable, makes us feel different.
Well, no, I think it's about what are we good at?
Yeah.
We need to recognize what we are good at and then not try to force ourselves into something else that we don't have the talent for. So this is really exciting because it's a docuseries. It's going to be a docuseries of what we're calling Baja to Alaska. And it's going to be all about how we do this. We're going to be brutally honest about what it is like to do this. And so there will be a series of just sort of RV life videos, how-to videos, but then we also will be travel vlogging. And what's exciting about the travel vlog is that our son, our 15-year-old, is going to join us in the filming and editing. He's really passionate about wanting to go off to school as a director or an editor or a screenwriter. And we are so honored that he wants to do this with us. And, that you and Jack have already started that. We had alluded to the fact that Jason was out of town back in December. Well, Jason and Jack flew to Elkhart. They met with the team at Ibex. They picked up the Ibex and then they drove it all the way back here.
2,100 miles back.
They did. And
if you're watching on YouTube, by the way, our light just flipped off. Went out. We lost battery power on it. So actually it might look better without the light.
Who knows? It is just, again, this is what you can expect going forward.
Yeah, some technical difficulties are bound to happen in the future. But yeah, Jack and I traveled that whole distance. That's where I ran out of gas, as we mentioned on the last episode. And because I was towing it with a very small vehicle, probably too small, I don't want to recommend, but it was fine. And also it towed so well. So this Ibex has independent suspension. It's got great ground clearance, and each individual wheel has its own spring and shock on it. So they're
beast mode.
They call it beast mode. That's
beast mode.
That's the name of the package, but it's mainly meant for taking it off road and down washboard roads and all that sort of stuff. But actually, it does really great on the highway. Yeah,
I am excited to just take this out on the road and see it for myself. I haven't had a chance to be in the truck as we're towing it. I'm excited to get to tow it myself. I'm really looking forward to that. And, one of the things I want to mention too.
Which you definitely will, because I broke my finger.
Yeah, because I have to. But if you are curious, have we named this? I mean, I know that's what's on everyone's mind right now. Yes, we have named this. We've named it multiple times. Its full name is Stephen Rebecca Sasquatch III. Okay, there's this Sasquatch image, a silhouette on the side, and then there's the Ibex. And so we named it Stephen Rebecca Sasquatch III.
We?
Yes, Nick, we also call it the Squatchmobile, Squatchy, the Bex,
it's
and
Bex.
Steve.
But
Bex tends to be what sticks the most. I'm going down to the Bex, or I got to get something from the Bex. So that tends to be what sticks around.
So we're at this campground. We have 2 campsites here. The 2
We're those
RVs are
people.
separated apart from each other, so we have to like come down here and work on it and bring
Yeah.
stuff over.
It's
And
okay.
tomorrow we're actually gonna take it out of here and try to go do a full walkthrough video of it out on some BLM land or something, because the sites are real small here and not conducive to doing a walk around video. But we're just really excited to get moving on this, and
we're
there's a lot of
excited
work
to be
ahead.
doing this with our friends and
Mhm.
to be able to share the joys of caravanning with another full-time family and all that comes with that. I'm so thankful that we have them to especially do Baja and Alaska with. Like, it's just, and I'm excited for you all to get to know them as well, because they're just such incredible people. So it's going to be really pretty epic around here in a hopefully good non-ER, no more breaking, injuring of things in 2023 around RV Miles. So, make sure if you're listening to this and you haven't popped over to the RV Miles YouTube channel, please make sure you head over there and subscribe so that you can join us on this adventure. Of course, we will also share what's happening in the form of reels and posts on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We'll be talking about it in the RV Miles Facebook group, and then here on the podcast.
Yeah. So if you have questions or you have advice for us about Alaska, about Canada or Northern California or Baja, please let us know in the comments
please.
on the YouTube video version of this, or in the RV Miles Facebook group. If you're not a member there, please come join us. It's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, we would love any advice that you can share with us. So thank you in advance.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to check the level of our tanks.
We'll be right back. On every road trip, there are moments you wish could last forever. Your kids running into the ocean for the first time, that perfect campsite with views that amaze and surprise, a hike through Sarah's Crack, moments you spend time planning and you wish would never end. But like all good adventures, they do. But you know what doesn't have to end? Your Road Pass Pro membership you used to plan that memory-making vacation. Grab your Road Pass Pro membership today and lock in the $49.99 price for life. Featuring some of our favorite trip planning sites like Campendium and Road Trippers and the Togo app for checklists, Road Pass Pro will help you create an amazing RV adventure. Save $10 off your first year with code RVMiles10X and lock in the renewal rate of $49.99 for life. Road Pass Pro is going up in the new year, so if you've been on the fence, now is the time to join and save. Just click the link in the description and use code RVMiles10X to save $10 off your first year of Road Pass Pro.
It's time for a new RV mattress. Abby and I have been testing out the Wanderlust mattress from RVmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding, and we couldn't be happier. We're sleeping better, and because we were able to customize the mattress, we got the exact fit for our needs. RVmattress.com offers a 120-night sleep trial, the ability to pick different sizes and thicknesses, plus their products are toxin-free, made in the USA, and incredibly simple to set up. We were able to have ours delivered to the campground, and within hours of unboxing, the mattress was fully expanded and ready to sleep on. RVmattress.com offers free shipping and is offering the RV Miles community 20% off. Visit RVmattress.com/RVMiles and use the promo code RVMiles, all one word. That's RVmattress.com/RVMiles with the promo code RVMiles for 20% off.
We are back, and it is time to check the level of our tanks. Jason, what is in your fresh tank this week?
How about my black tank first? 'Cause
How
that's what I normally
about
do.
your black tank?
My black tank is this crazy river in the sky weather that is hitting California
How
right now.
dare you take
Was that going to be
my
yours?
black tank?
Sorry. The weather in general has been rough. There was that big storm that hit most of the country the last week of the year, and now Northern California. And when I say Northern California, I mean basically everybody north of us down here in Palm Springs is getting hit with just disastrous amounts of rain and snow, like 8 inches of rain, feet of snow. We're getting some rain and cold and wind down here, but it's nothing compared to what a lot of people are going through. As we're recording this on Thursday. I know a couple people have already died, and the worst of it is kind of happening today.
Oh,
So it's people are having to evacuate and lots of stuff going on. They're saying this is probably going to be the worst storm in California in 5 years. So it's really unfortunate, and it's probably going to be hitting more of the country as well as it travels.
all right, everyone. Please continue to stay safe then, because it sounds like it's not over yet. All
Yeah,
right, what
yeah.
is in your fresh tank?
So my first tank is, we've always recommended that people, when you buy an RV, not worry about smart TVs, and just get a Roku device or an Amazon Fire Stick or a Google Chromecast, whatever they call it. We use Roku, so we have a Roku soundbar in our living room and a small Roku in our bedroom. They just attach to your TV and they turn it into a smart TV, and you can buy TVs that have the Roku's operating system built in already. But my fresh tank is sort of the free offerings on Roku lately, on the actual Roku channel, have been kind of awesome. We've been watching lots of great stuff, including every single season of This Old House, which is like probably up there in my top 5 all-time favorite shows.
I thought maybe you were going to tell everyone that they have Columbo.
They do have Columbo. Now, you do have to watch commercials on lots of these. Not that many. But I've with being lame with my finger, I laid in bed and watched an episode of Columbo the other night.
I think I came in halfway through, and weren't you proud of me? Because I said absolutely nothing about the fact. I said nothing.
You didn't
say
anything.
Sat down and I was just working on the laptop while you were watching Columbo. And that was the first time I had ever been in the room when an episode of Columbo was on. Yeah. And I thought, okay, looks like this is your life now.
They also have the first season of the Great British Baking Show, right?
The very, very first season. Normally it starts on like season 3, which is that the Style Over Substance season?
That's 4 or 5.
No, that's 4. Anyway, normally it starts then, and they've given you the first 2 that were like before the show got a glow up, and it's fascinating.
It is.
It's absolutely fascinating to watch what it was like for those first 2 seasons when they were just teeny tiny little British Bake Off show.
It's even more British and nice.
Oh, more British, more nice. It's just a delight. It's wonderful.
So check out the free offerings. They've got that Weird Al movie, all sorts of stuff on.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe
on Roku. Oh. What is in your black tank this week,
So
Abigail?
My black tank goes to, so outside of the campground here, we have a main road.
Mm-hmm.
And the speed limit on that road is 55 miles an hour.
Yes.
Okay, and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
There are stop signs.
So weird.
Constantly on this road. So by the time you even reach 55, for most of us, it's time to start braking again because there's a stop sign coming. I don't get it.
I don't actually think that meets whatever they call it, the National Vehicle Code. I think.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
When you're supposed to have a stop sign, I believe it's supposed to slow down to like 35 miles an hour before a stop sign.
It is so strange. And there's a light. There's several lights, but there's also just this constant like stream of stop signs. And everyone is zipping, and then everyone is slamming on their brakes, and then everyone starts zipping through again because, it's like, oh, the speed limit's 55. Well, I can't be seen going less than 60. So it's weird. I kind of hate driving on that road.
Yeah. I rode my bike on it.
That's I don't understand that.
Well, it was. I don't
understand it.
It's great because it's actually wide.
I know, but people be crazy on that road.
Yeah, they are.
They are crazy. So again, someone out there, this road obviously no one's thought about this road in a while. We need to think about this road and maybe see if we can either, bump the speed limit down or maybe, you can't change it either because it is 4-way stops.
It should come down to like 35.
It just doesn't need to be 55. There's not enough time.
If there was time, if there's a big difference between the stop signs, then you go up to 55.
But there's not.
Within a couple hundred feet, you need to come down or something. Anyway,
it's weird.
What's in your fresh tank this week?
So my fresh tank is for all of you out there who are road schooling or homeschooling or looking for some online educational classes for your kids. It's possible I've talked about this in the past, but we have really been implementing over the last several months outschool.com as part of our kids' educational curriculum. And I want to share that with anyone who's looking to really, you can build an entire curriculum off of OutSchool. There are teachers on there and educational platforms that also offer entire curriculums for your child. And I have really, really appreciated this platform. It's become more accessible to us since we got Starlink. So in the past, we really couldn't use OutSchool the way that I had always wanted to use it. Now, if you're asking, well, what in the world is OutSchool? So OutSchool is this online platform where thousands upon thousands of teachers in all kinds of different subjects, everything you could probably think of is on OutSchool. They offer up classes. They can be anywhere from 30 minutes once a week to an hour twice a week. They can be full long semester. Like our son Jack just finished a full semester of a film class that he was in with other students. You do it through Zoom. It is incredibly safe. If you have any concern, they have every safety measure implemented into this site to ensure that your child stays safe. They have the opportunity to participate with other children online in these classes. And I've just been really, really impressed with it. And as we get ready to start our next semester on Monday with OutSchool, I'm really excited for the kids because they have some really great classes lined up and they've been able to make some connections with teachers that they really connect with. One of our sons is taking a class called If Historical Figures Went to Hogwarts. And each week they talk about a particular historical figure. They learn about that person, or they find out what makes them historical, I guess, and then they place them in a house. And
that's a unique way to learn about history by bringing it into a modern context.
Well, yeah, and I think too, because you're also, these houses are so particularly defined in the world of Harry Potter as to what the characteristic traits are for each house, that you then have to use this critical thinking based off what little bit of information or however much information you know about this particular person. And then you have to figure that out. It's quite a lot of fun and he absolutely loves it. So if you want to learn more about outschool.com, we don't get anything from this. We have a $20 off coupon for anyone that wants to try it for their first class. They offer it to everyone who's on OutSchool. So if you want to try it for your kid and you want to save $20, I will link to it in the YouTube description and then also in the podcast description as well.
It's also a great thing to look at if you're somebody looking for a way to make income from the road.
Absolutely.
If you want to teach a class on OutSchool, that could be a great way to make money if you have that kind of, either if you have teaching experience or if you have a lot of experience in a particular topic that you would be good at teaching.
I would love to see more book club type classes. Actually, if I can just throw it out there. Hey, if you are, a literature major or what, you just like talking about books, it would be really cool to see just a little bit more of a variety on there for the kids.
Okay, that's it for this week's episode of the RV Miles podcast.
Yes, it is. And a continued happy 2023 to all of you listening and watching. Again, if you are thinking about picking up any new gear for your RV camping season, which is right around the corner, trust me, the snow will melt. Consider going over to amazon.com/shop/RV-miles. Take us with you as you are shopping. And if you are enjoying this show, if you want to support a small business and you want to help keep RV Miles the independent journalists that you have come to know and hopefully maybe kind of sort of tiny respect, please consider becoming a Mile Marker member. I will link to the ways that you can support RV Miles through a Mile Marker subscription. And what you are doing when you become a Mile Marker is you are helping RV Miles stay independent and continue to offer and increase the content for you, the RV consumer. So thank you to the over or almost 100 Mile Marker members who have just joined us in the last couple of weeks. We are so grateful for that support. Of course, we are grateful for any support you can offer RV Miles. It does not have to be as just a Mile Marker. And finally, I promise we're getting out of here. If you want to chat with Jason and me, please head over to the RV Miles Facebook group. Tag us in a post. We would love to speak with you. All right. Have a happy, prosperous, joyous, healthy, do not break any bones or go to the ER. New year, and we will see you down the road as we keep logging those RV miles.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.